Welcome students, my name is Dr. Satish Chand Pandey. Today's topic is data mining technique. There are various techniques which are used earlier such as artificial intelligence, artificial neural network, decision tree, classifications, clustering. These are various types of techniques which are used for data mining. Now we will discuss decision tree. What are the decision tree? Decision tree. In a decision tree, we can see simply the structure that is in tree format. Decision tree induction method comes under this classification analysis. A decision tree is a tree-like structure that is easy to understand and simple and fast. In this, each non-leaf node represents a test on an attribute and each branch represents the outcome of the test, and the leaf node represents the class level. In this decision tree, there are various nodes, leaves are available. The attribute values in a tuple are tested against the decision tree from the root to the leaf node. Decision trees are popular as it does not require any domain knowledge. These can represent multi-dimensional data. The decision tree can be easily converted to classification rules. For example, we can see the decision tree in the data mining structure. Root node is age. It is categorized in two parts, student and credit. Student have subnodes and credit have also subnodes. Age, it is the root node. In that category, there are students, young, middle and senior. These are three ages also. Student, if students is exist or not, no and yes categorized. Credit, fair, excellent. It is subdivision of that tree, and overall structure of this is in decision tree structure. Now another technique is artificial neural network, ANN. Artificial neural networks, simply we can say that from biological neurons, it is same as biological neurons in the other word. Artificial neural networks are non-linear predictive model that uses the concept of learning and training and closely resembles the structure of the biological neural network. In it, a large historical data is trained or analyzed in order to predict the output of a particular future situation or a problem. An artificial neural network is the component of artificial intelligence that is meant to simulate the functioning of a human brain. Processing units make up ANNs, which is in turn consist of input and outputs. The inputs are what are the ANN learn from, produce to desired output. From the figure, we can explain that there are various input layers. These are connected with hidden layer categorized of hidden layer 1, hidden layer 2, so up to various n, and finally we get output layer. This is all over known as artificial neural network. The algorithm for artificial neural network, the algorithm chart, the flow chart for artificial neural network, we can see from that figure. Here start, that means when problem will be start, initial single point, it is connected to initial single point, and initial single point it is connected with improvement. Next input is improvement, problem specific improvement, and it is also connected with termination. What are the condition for that termination? And finally stop. In between improvement and termination, one condition for if else and true false, no and yes. This is the flow chart for artificial neural network. Now the another technique is genetic algorithm. An agentic algorithm is a search heuristic that is inspired by Charles Darwin theory of natural evolution. That is, the algorithm reflects the process of natural selection where the fittest individuals are selected for reproduction in order to produce offspring of the next generation. We have earlier known that from biology book we can say that Charles Darwin had given a postulates, if somebody will exist in that manner, who will lead? In another word, we can say that who can lead, they can survive. Genetic algorithm is a search-based optimization technique based on the principles of genetics and natural selection. They are commonly used to generate high-quality solutions for optimization problems and search problems. Genetic algorithms simulate the process of natural selection, which means those species who can adapt to change in their environment are able to survive and reproduce and go to next generation. In simple word, they simulate survival of the fittest among individual of consecutive. This is the also a phenomena of Charles Darwin. Generation for solving a problem. Each generation consists of population of individuals, and each individual represents a point in search space and possible solutions. Each individual is represented as a string of character, integer, float points, etc. The string is analogous to the chromosome. We can say in computer language, artificial neural networks is just like human brains, and genetic algorithms is just like it is based upon chromosome, just same as the chromosome. In the following figure, we can initialize the genetic algorithm. First, start the process, then initialization, then it is connected in forward direction, fitness assignment, then selection, then crossover, and then mutation. From fitness assignment and crossover mutation, one conditional stopping criteria if false, it is also useful. From that flow chart we can say that just like chromosome in computer language, first we create a process for processing, then initialize them, then that process will checked by fitness assignment, and then it is good or not selection, then we apply another process, and finally we get the output. Now we will discuss about data warehousing. Data warehousing is the process of constructing and using a data warehouse. A data warehouse is constructed by integrating data from multiple heterogeneous sources that support analytical reporting, structured and or the doc queries, and decision making. Data warehousing involves data cleaning, data integrations and data consolidations, etc. A data warehouse can be viewed as a data system with the following attributes. It is a database designed for investigative tasks using data from various applications. It supports a relatively small number of clients with relatively long interactions. It includes current and historical data to provide a historical perspective of information. Now, what are the characteristics of data warehouse? There are various characteristics. First is subject oriented. A data warehouse target on the modeling and analysis of data for decision makers. Therefore, data warehouse typically provide a concise and straightforward view around a particular subject, such as customer, product or sales, instead of global organizations, ongoing operations, etc. This is done by excluding data that are not useful concerning the subject and including all data needed by the users to understand the subject. Finally, we can say the data which is related to subject oriented. In that manner, for data warehousing, these are the characteristics. Another characteristics, integrated. A data warehouse integrate various heterogeneous data sources like RDBMS, flat files and online transaction records, etc. It requires performing data cleaning and integration during data warehousing to ensure consistency in naming conventions, attribute types, etc. among different data sources. Non-volatile. The data warehouse is a physically separate data storage which is transformed from the source optional RDBMS. The operational updates of data do not occur in the data warehouse, that is update, insert, delete, etc. Non-volatile means that once entered into the warehouse, and data should not change. That means non-volatile. What are the need for data warehouse? There are various needs such as stored historical data, make strategic decision for data consistency and quality, high response time, etc. In the historical data stored, we can store the various types of data in a historical manner. In the market, make strategic decisions. There are various types of decisions which are useful for making a data warehouse. For data consistency and quality, bringing the data from different sources at a common place, the user can effectively undertake to bring the uniformity and consistency in data. High response time. Data warehouse has to be ready for somewhat unexpected loads and types of queries, which demands a significant degree of flexibility and quick response time. This is the high response time. For this category, we need the data warehouse. What are the difference between database and data warehouse? The main difference is database is used for online transactional processing, OLTP, but it can be used for objectives such as data warehousing, whereas data warehouse is used for online analytical process, OLAP. This reads the historical information for the customers for business decisions. Another difference is in RDBMS, in DBMS, the tables and joins are complicated since they are normalized for RDBMS. There are various categories for normalized such as 1F, 1NF, 2NF, 3NF and so on. But this is done to reduce redundant files and to save storage space. Whereas the tables and joins are accessible since they are denormalized. This is done to optimize the response time for analytical queries. Data is dynamic, whereas their data warehouse data is largely static. Next point, data is dynamic, whereas in data warehouse data is largely static. Optimized for write operations, whereas optimized for read operations in data warehouse. In the database, we can write the operations, it is optimized, but in data warehousing, we can read only in data warehousing. Now, what are the functions of data warehouse tools and utilities? There are various functions of data warehouse which are data extraction. First point is data extraction. Extraction means involve gathering data from multiple heterogeneous sources. We can collect the data from a large database and extract from them. Data cleaning involve finding and correcting the errors in the data. From the data cleaning, we can clean the repository data from that process in data warehousing. Next is data transformation, such as according to name, it is also clear that it converting the data from legacy format to warehouse format. It is converted when we want in that category. Data loading, it is the another function when we want to involve data load on that particular database. Involve sorting, summarizing, consolidated, checking, integrity and building indices and partitions. These are the content for data loading. We can load the data from that contents. Next is refreshing. It involves the updating from data sources to data warehouse. Now, the data warehouse dependents. The data warehouse dependents are those parts of data warehouse which are not directly connected with the warehouse functioning. The dependents are data repositories developed for specialized purpose. The commonly used dependents are data marts and metadata. Data marts contain a summary of data present in the data warehouse. Metadata, it is a storage place for information about stored in data warehouse. This is the block diagram of data warehouse dependents, transactional systems, legacy applications and internal external feeds. These are connected with independent data marts. Legacy applications is directly connected with data warehouse and dependent data mart, and dependent data mart. These are the block diagram. What are the difference between dependent and independent data warehouse? Generally, a dependent data warehouse stored the data in a central data warehouse, whereas in independent data warehouse, standalone systems built by drawing data directly from operational or external sources of data or both. Dependent data warehouses are built ODs, whereas independent data warehouse will not depend on ODs. Dependent data marts are usually built to achieve improved performance and availability, better control, etc. But in independent creation of independent data marts is often driven by the need to have a solution within a shorter time. These are the basic difference between dependent data and independent data. Next lecture, we will discuss data marts, OLAP, OLTP, etc. Thank you.